Yeah, we say this the PSVG Prime today. They were talking about Lucas was talking about how he can't, had a hard time creating a lobby with just GTA,
Hmm.
with Josh. So, and they were playing on PC. So, like we say this all the time. I think it's networking is hard.
Yeah.
I think that's a big, especially when there is even like we say PC, like it's all one thing when it's 10,000 different configurations and
And yeah, and that's a huge part of it. It's like
yeah.
they're so distinctly different. It's not like it's like you either have the PS4 or the PS4 Pro, but
Yep.
still, it's like essentially the same
And then on
machine.
top of that, then it's Uplay and Epic and
Mhm.
BattleNet and Steam and like everything else. It makes it even
I'll
worse.
say that the easiest sort of like when you're talking like cross-platform connection that I've had the most ease has been this new Call of Duty.
Oh
Like
yeah,
I play on the PlayStation 4 in the living room, and my son plays in the Xbox in his room, and it really is just like click on social, click on invite. Like
player.
they took a page out of Fortnite. It's just
Yeah,
that simple.
that's
And
good.
I was like, man, that's fantastic. Because I was really stressing, like, this is gonna suck. Because the way that Fortnite does it is beautiful. Like it's real seamless.
Yeah. Sorry,
So they stole that for sure.
put my Xbox money back.
how,
All right, here
what,
we.
how much are you up to?
Oh God, I don't know. I keep robbing it. I keep taking money away from
Oh,
it.
you're hurting yourself, man.
Well, I keep finding things to do with it. At one point, I
Mm,
had $500, and
nice.
now I have
$63.
$63. I think you're closer than you're off.
Oh shit.
Only because I'll tell you. Only because I know more money's coming. Hang on. 155,
Uh-huh.
and that's because I took some money to pay for my lawnmower. I had to repair my lawnmower, so I fixed the tires and changed the
Uh-huh.
blades, got the oil changed, and all that. But I worked all weekend, and it was like a private event. Like we were
Uh-huh.
forced to do it, but we get paid to do it. Like I don't have. It's not
Mhm.
optional, but I
Yeah.
do get paid for it. And so that money is coming in
Oh,
in
nice.
like 2 weeks, and that money just goes directly back into
Just
the
straight to.
bucket. Yeah, so I'll
Well,
be
that's
back
not
up to
bad.
like 400 in a week.
Yeah. I'm stressing right now because I think I'm up to $550 in GameStop credit.
That's good.
It's good, but I'm also stressing because they keep closing stores left and right. That I'm like, is there gonna be is there gonna be a GameStop when
I
when I
didn't
want to
even
buy
think of
this?
that. You're like, how valuable is this credit
Right.
actually?
And I think on the episode before last of like games you don't play, I think I told Delvin I was like, they're gonna start closing down, and I'm gonna have like 12 Xbox 360s for no good reason. So I'm gonna be like, I got all this credit
It's
for
like
what?
it's like when a country has a war, like a civil war, and
Yeah,
like
the value of tanks.
somebody gets left with money that's worthless, this valueless
Mhm.
piece of stuff.
Yeah, I'm like, I got all the money. Too bad it is worth. It's not even worth the material it's printed
It's
on.
not even, yeah, exactly. That's funny. I didn't even think about that when you said it at first. I was like, man,
Yeah,
oh, that
because
is good.
in my neighborhood, like they're just around the corner from, like literally around the block is considered like a flagship store, so that one's staying open. But there's about five just within a mile and a half radius around me, and two or three of them are going to be closing before summer.
Yeah.
I'm like, oh boy,
And then they're
please,
closing a bunch. They're closing more.
yeah,
Would they just announced that, like with their last one? I don't
yeah,
think, like they keep thinking that this, like they're changing their store isn't going to help. Like them, I
yeah,
mean, it's not going to
no,
hurt. Like, well, it's not going to stop what's happening. Like
yeah.
that's not the
I
issue. The
think there's
issue
just
is
too
that,
many. I think they just saturated the market. There were too many Game Stops. Like, keep a few so that you kind of have a supply and demand type of thing. But when you put
I'm
it
with
on
you
every
there.
corner,
I've said it for a while. Like the name alone has too much value to just close, in my opinion.
yeah, yeah,
But you're absolutely right. It's just they're the way retail is done now. They can't operate at the scale that they're operating.
yeah.
They need
No, definitely.
to cut and be lighter, more lightweight,
Yeah,
and just
yeah.
focus. I
Totally
would
makes
just
sense.
focus on like epicenters. Like I would focus
Hmm.
on like New York City, Boston, Atlanta, Houston, LA. Like I would just focus on big metropolises where people still get out in their shopping districts and people walk around on foot and buy things.
Yeah,
I would focus on those places most, and especially not out of this rural mom and pop, like every other exit off of every freeway has a GameStop. Like it's
Exactly.
too much.
Yeah. Or then when you see stores that used to be a GameStop but still use like the same font and marquee, they just like paint a couple letters. So it's like, oh, I got my haircut at the I got my haircut at the Fame Stop. You're like, you just made the GNF. Okay.
Yeah, I do wonder because if I think it ultimately comes down to is right, like the company that is today is used to making like $1 billion a year, whatever it is.
Yeah.
And now they just got to get used to making $10 million a year, and it's going to cost a lot. Like a lot of people are going to lose their jobs, but if they got lighter, they could still exist in kind of like a premium type space.
Yeah. It would be like a profit, just not as much as it was, but it might just equate like as a ratio.
Yeah, but their board of directors don't want to hear that because that means half of them got to go away too.
Exactly.
They're like, wait a minute, make it like it was last time. Do that.
That is true.
That time is gone. It's not their fault. It's Amazon's fault.
Yeah, for real. Are you ready to do this?
Yeah, man, I'm ready. Sorry, I got Devin and Kevin and everybody's hurting my dreams over here in this private chat about this logo thing that I got coming.
Oh, is that what you're announcing?
Well, apparently, yeah. Apparently, we're going to announce something that I don't like as much, so.
But let me see it.
No,
I'll tell you if I like it or not.
I can't.
Man. That's right. We're streaming.
We have a whole plan.
I'll give you my opinion. I'll be like, it's terrible. I don't like change.
Okay, so we wanted to record a little something about this past weekend that we just had. So I don't know, how do you want to start this? So, I mean, I wanted to preface, we haven't really spoke about this at all. Like, this is the first time you and I have spoke to each other since Sunday. So we have not been able to like arrange our stories or get our facts straight. So he has his side of the story and I have my side of the story. And what we thought was, he was like, I can't believe this just happened. I was like, we have to record this, and we have to record this like this. Like, we can't, put pieces together. We have to record and see what the other thought. So
yeah, because there really was, and we'll start from the beginning and we'll work our way till like the end. But there really was two sides to this adventure of getting Donnie's book autographed. And so let's start from the beginning. You post in the Discord, anyone going to C2E2? Now, I live all the way in California. Like, I have no business going to C2E2.
So for anybody that hasn't heard the story, the footnotes of it is that I have this Last of Us Collector's Edition book. It's a comic, the American Dreams comic series. It's a hardbound, hardcover book. It's limited edition. I bought this book for several $100s years ago, and it is signed by Neil Druckmann, and I have had it signed by Troy Baker, and I've had it signed by Nolan North. And for many, many years, I have tried to have it signed by Ashley Johnson, who voices Ellie in The Last of Us, and Ellie in The Last of Us Part 2 that's coming up. And she's been harder to reach than the other folks. The other folks, like Troy Baker, Nolan North, they're like con whores. They go everywhere. They're so readily available. Their autographs can't be worth anything because there's thousands of them out there. Like, they're readily available. They're in Atlanta one week, in Huntsville the next week, in Nashville the next week, in Dallas. Yeah. You can get these, but Ashley,
globetrotters. They're everywhere.
Ashley's nowhere. Like, she has done. If you go to, I've been using this website. I think it's called FanCon or confans.com, something like that. They list all these people and they list their calendars. You can sign up for alerts. And Ashley's done like 5 conferences since The Last of Us came out.
Yeah.
Period.
How long ago was that?
2013.
Yeah. You see, that's insane.
And the majority of these conferences that she's done aren't gaming focused. Like, the majority of them are Critical Role focused, which is the YouTube Dungeons and Dragons series that she does. Or at least I think that's what it is. I don't know. I don't watch it. So she's been hard to get to. She announced a show in Denver about 2 years ago. I think it was 2 years. It might have been last year. I don't remember now. And I should have looked it up before we recorded.
But that sounds about right, because I know my buddy Sean, who I met up with at C2E2, he had said something similar where he started looking up her info because he was like, maybe you'll catch her later. And then he was like, oh, last thing she did was like Colorado like 2-3 years ago. And I was like, wow.
I bought a ticket, and she the showing that I had, she was supposed to be there for 3 days. And I was going to go out there on the third day, and she canceled her thing to 1 day. So that's what I remember happened. Like, so she was there, but she only had one signing, and I had a ticket for the other signing. So I had to cancel my flight. I couldn't fly out there. She wasn't there. I was going to fly all the way there. And I remember what the conference was. It wasn't like gaming focused. So I was literally bought a ticket, was going to fly to Colorado in one day. I was going to Uber there, get my autograph, Uber back to the airport, and come back home.
I'm going to land at 3. I'm going to fly home by 6.
Yeah, that's exactly was the plan. I was like in and out of across the country just for this autograph. So I get the alert. Ashley Johnson's confirmed for a conference called C2E2 in Chicago, Illinois. And I was like, I have to go. So I immediately go to the website, start looking up ticket prices, and lo and behold, I see the date. And it's March 1st. Now here in Atlanta, for the last 3 days, we have been hosting the U.S. Olympics men's and women's qualifier for the Olympic Games coming up. So if you want to go run for Team USA in the like the marathon or whatever the time, you've got to compete. You've got to qualify at this event. I happen to maintain and manage this system that tracks patients and runners down and events across the city and command centers and everything that we use for big special events. This has been in works for like a year. We've been planning for this event. There's no way in hell my boss was going to let me go.
Yeah, this doesn't sound like some single pop-up tent where you just manage traffic.
Yeah. And
it just once you said Olympics, it's like, all right, never mind.
It killed me because I wanted to go so bad. I was on my way to Chicago, so I actually talked to my wife, and I was like, "Can I just send you to Chicago for a day? Like, find a hotel room." I was going to try to do it. I was trying to win her over. I was like, "Look, I'll send you. You go get my autograph. Find a hotel room and a spa. And we'll get you a massage,
get away,
and then you come back home. I have my book. You feel better." And she was like, "Absolutely not. You're not sending me to Chicago in the wintertime." She's like, "Donnie, this is ridiculous." I was like, "But I have to." I don't know. Now that it's happened, I feel, I don't know, especially when I see it from my wife's angle, I feel dumb for wanting it so bad. Mm-hmm. It's just something that I've really, really wanted. It's kind of like this quest that I've been on. And I don't know. I think it makes me feel special to think that I'm going to eventually have the book with all the signatures in it. You know, it's a lot of work and things. It's not like I just saw them all and they all saw my book. Right, this has been a journey for many, many years, to get all this together.
And to get this final autograph was really like, it truly was like building a machine. All these cogs had to fit so that the bigger thing could kind of function. Because, my podcast partner, Sean, he's from Chicago, and he's been going to C2E2 for years.
Now, apparently, this is a giant conference. I saw all these wrestlers there and all these actors and like movie stars. I was like, wow, this is a big deal.
I went to like my first wrestling match since, let me tell you, like I stopped watching wrestling like when I was a kid, and the last match I went to, I was telling them Tugboat and Earthquake were new.
Earthquake. That's a name I haven't heard from in a bit.
But that tells you how long ago. I have just recently fallen in love with, I think his name is Orange Cassidy.
Yeah.
That dude's the best.
Dude, Orange Cassidy, oh man, that is very, very timely input by you. Orange Cassidy is so over. It is hard to fathom just how over he is. Like, fans love that cat to death.
And then watching him, because everyone was like, wrestling's theatrics, right? Mm-hmm. And so it was fun to go, but it was just like all the guys are doing the same flips and this and that, in some form. And this dude, and I'm unfamiliar. I have not watched wrestling in forever, and people are hyped. And when I saw him do and put his hands in his pocket, I was like, what's he doing? And then the guy sitting next to us, because it was like Sean and a bunch of his buddies, and they were like, oh, he just is so like, he doesn't care. He like wrestles with his hands in his pants, and then he's doing the slow kick.
Oh, yeah.
I was like, this dude is the best.
Freshly squeezed. Yeah.
Freshly squeezed. Man, he was brilliant. I was like, in the best, he didn't go over the top. He lowered the bar. You know what I mean? Like, whereas everyone's like these big theatrics and lights and I'm going to kill, da, da, da. He was just like, he took off a pair of sunglasses to put on sunglasses. Different ones. Same ones, but different. I was like, this guy's amazing.
The best gimmicks in wrestling are always the really simple ones. And as corny and cheesy as they can be, the better.
Yeah.
That's
but he killed it.
Proven forever.
But So it's like with that. So Sean has been telling me for years. He's like, dude, you should come out. You should come out. Um, because I work at a school, like I can't, I get winter break, I get spring break, I get my summer, and those are really nice. But it's very difficult for me to take like a random Friday or a Monday
Right.
or a Thursday because, like, so I took Friday off, and just to give you some background, in the time that I was off, today that I'm back, I had to deal with a kid who snapped a Chromebook in half and threw it in the trash. Someone who broke this the stall door off. Because once they see my car's not in the parking lot, free for all. And I'm talking kids go bananas, and so do the teachers. So it's like I come back and I'm like, oh God. It's like, you think you can trust your kids to be home for the weekend, and you come back and it's like risky business. Your car's in the lake. Like, so I'm just like, what are you guys doing? So it's better for me to be here, manage the school environment, everything's good. But so when I looked at it, I was like, finally this year, I was like, you know what? This is like the first day of like parent conferences. It's a minimum day, so I can miss that day, totally be good. Most of the drama happens in the afternoon. We should be all right. So I made it happen, and it was just like, this is really cool. So when you posted in the Discord, I was like, I'm going.
Yeah. So my wife, she's not taking the bait. And I don't know when another opportunity like this comes around. And, like we've already said, Ashley doesn't get out much. And I was like, damn, this is a perfect opportunity. Mm-hmm. So I go to our Discord, our battle pass. I can only trust our most fans of fans. Like, this is not just an anything. You don't go to Twitter with this request. And I go,
anyone who follows me or listens to me, you know that I will honestly tell you I'm sketchy at best. I know I am. Like, this is really on Donnie for trusting me, because I'll be up front. I'm super suspect.
So I hit the Discord and I go, hey, who's in or around Chicago? And I believe we had 2 people chime in. And this is after I already tried to bribe Kyle and Nathan.
Uh-huh.
Kyle is like 5 hours away. And I was like, Kyle, I'll pay for everything. Like, I'll pay for the ticket. I'll pay for your hotel. And he just so happens to be like on a weekend. I guess his wife was going to be home. So he was like, I can't. Like, my dogs will be here by themselves. And I tried. And so I was like, I've got this crazy idea.
Well, hold on. Time out. My dogs will be home by themselves.
Yeah.
So, like, the neighbor can't come over, check out the dogs?
I guess not. I don't know. Like, I tried.
Because he didn't say kids. He didn't say, like, my 3-year-old, my 5-year-old.
I barked up that tree. He was like, I can't. He was like, and he was like, yeah, he's like, if I take the train, it's like 5 hours. I was like, that's a day trip. I'm like, come on. You leave at 5 in the morning. You're there by 10. You hang out for a couple hours. You leave at 5. You're back by 10. Like, this is perfect.
It's a wrap. Makes sense.
And, but I couldn't do it. And Nathan, I think, was like in California. Like, he's just not even, he was like, yeah, that weekend I'm out. So I go, I have this crazy idea. I'm going to send my book, this book that I cherish so much, in the mail to someone. I mean, I won't say a stranger, but like, we've never met in person. We don't talk, we don't talk daily. So it's, someone that I'm putting a lot of faith and trust into.
A lot.
And you heeded the call. It was you and Zach. You guys were like, yeah, I'll do it. And it just so happened that you, of all these things, that you just happened to be going to the show that I needed someone to go to.
Yes.
So, like, you're talking about how
that's the first cog.
Yeah. How the universe just happened to line up that I just happened to know somebody that was going.
Yeah.
How funny would it have been if I didn't have to leave work and I just showed up and you were just there? Right. And like, we're walking around taking pictures of the same place.
Is that Donnie? Yeah.
Because I was going. I was on my way. I'd already bought. It was done.
Yeah.
So yeah, that's crazy. So you answer the call and you're like, I'm going. I'd be happy to. Yeah. So then I slide into your DMs and I'm like, and now I need you to understand the importance of what you just said.
Yeah. Which then I get an immediate sinking feeling where I'm like, because I mean, to kind of going back to something I said earlier, yeah, if you see my social media presence, I'm pretty foolish. Like, I say dumb stuff, but honestly, like in my day-to-day, I really, the job I do is to like help and support people, and so it really is a part of me. And so if I have the chance to like do something for you, and like you said, we don't know each other aside from this, you know what I mean? Like, I've had you on my show, like we, talk on Twitter, whatever, like, but it's not like we kick it,
Right.
And so, but
Like
it's just
you
like,
could you
but if
could
there's a way I
have,
can come
in
through,
theory, taken my book, changed Twitter handles, and
that would have been it.
I got
That would have been a
nothing.
wrap. Yeah,
Like, that's
you
it.
got nothing.
It's
And
gone.
so, yeah, and so, but I do really like try to help people when I can, and I'm like, I can help you for sure. Let me see what I can do. But when you added the layer of like importance, I was like, oh god. And so then I tossed out the idea because Sean lives in Atlanta or like outside. I was like, why don't you guys meet up? That way, because Donnie was going to send it from Georgia to California so that I could fly it to Chicago so
Yep.
that I could bring it back home so that I could send it back to Donnie. Like, and I just, like shipping something that many times, I'm like, that's a lot.
There's a lot of
That's a
risk
lot.
we're taking.
Yeah. So you tell me about like the importance of it, everything that's in there, and I'm fully buying in because I also believe in, like, when I told my wife about this book, kind of like your wife's response about sending her,
What a
like
loser.
she's like, are you? She was like, you guys are nerds. I was like, but you don't. I go, and whenever you start with your wife or girlfriend but you don't understand, you've already failed.
Yeah, you've lost.
So I was like, but
You're coming from a place of weakness. It's not a good stance to make your argument on.
I recognize you don't understand.
Yeah.
So I don't even know why I'm saying what I'm going to say, But so I was like, you don't understand. I go, like, he really needs this book and to get these autographs. And I tried to relate it to his stuff. And then she just dropped her card where she goes, and so how do you know Donnie? From the internet? Yes.
This guy from the internet?
Okay. So you're doing all this work for someone you don't know. I said, I mean, like I talked to him. She's like, oh, like you talk to him regularly? And I was like, never mind. I got to go. My flight's ready. I dipped out. But so I try to link you and Sean up to kind of just be like, hey, let me cut myself out of the middleman. And then he recognized the importance of this book, and he was like, I don't want any part of this.
Yes, that is the fun part of the story. Is I remember when you put us in the DM together, and I was like, so I can bring it to you. I was in drive over to Snellville, I believe, which is like an hour and a half from my house. I was like, I'm going to drive over there, and I'll just hand deliver you this book. And he was like, oh, it's cool. And I was like, now I need you to understand the importance of this book. I love this thing. It's my baby. I have it perfectly packaged just like this. And, not that like it would have been the end of the world, but like I was pretty adamant, like, don't pack it in your suitcase. You know, keep it on you. Like, it's very valuable. Don't just throw it wherever, like treat it like I would treat it if you would be so kind.
Yeah.
And it was clear that Sean was not having it. He was like,
he was just like,
no.
He's like, oh, he's real for real about this book. He's like, I don't know. That's a lot of responsibility. And I'm like, damn, I already committed to this. Like, okay. So then that's when I hit you up. I was like, okay. So now we thought we added a second cog.
Yep.
And it fell off. It didn't fit. It was like 2 prongs instead of enough. So it's like not gonna grab. So I was like, okay, well, just send it to me. We'll figure it out. Just send it. And so then I said, one stipulation: get a case for this.
Of course.
Because if it's gonna ship and it's gonna rattle, like I don't want it to get all dog-eared or folded or whatever. Like I could just see one of the packing bits slip into one of the pages, wrinkle it, and then be like, ugh. So Donnie gets the case. And
the perfect case.
Oh, no, it really is. But there is a series of pictures that's like, this is the book, inside this envelope, inside this case, inside this box. Oh, before that, she's going to sign here. So it's very methodical. And so then I was like, you know what, though? And I did not open that until the day until I had it ready for her to sign. Because I was like, I'm not putting fingerprints. I'm not putting links. I'm not. No way. No how. I don't even know what that book looks like inside. I just know that there was a folded piece of paper where she was supposed to sign. And that was it. I was like, I'm not. Because here's what would happen. I could already see it in my mind. Was like, I open it up and I'm like, let me check this out. And then I take it out of the envelope it was inside of the case, and then I drop it. Or my daughter runs into me and spills something on me. I was like,
my wife was sitting across from me on the couch when I was packing it. when I told her, I was like, I have a friend in California who's going to take it to Chicago. And she was like, what?
She said, you ever met him?
She's like, what the hell's going on? And she was like, Donnie, you're going to lose your book forever. I was like, don't say that. Why would you say that? And she goes, somebody's going to spill something on it. That was the immediate thing she said. She's like, somebody's going to take a look at it and they're just going to spill coffee in it. And I was like, why would you give me this kind of anguish? Why can't you let me believe in the hope and the goodness of people?
Anguish went to me because I was like, I'm not touching this book. Your wife cursed it. So, or at least she put not a curse, a protective curse. Because then when it came to me, I was like, I'm not touching this book.
So I do have to detail this case. This is an Armor tablet case that has, like, when you read the Amazon thing, the zipper has some sort of special technology that as you zip it, it creates a waterproof seal. So it's like it almost clamps together when you zip it. Like, it's just so perfectly designed that it just snaps together, and it's 100% waterproof. The people take it, iPads, and they dip it in the ocean and they bring it out. Like, so exactly. I buy this case. It is the perfect size. I measured my book and everything. Yeah. I even got into Amazon forums and I was asking them exactly how wide is the inside tab exactly. Yeah. So I put my book in a bubble mailer, put that in the netted pocket of the holder, clamp that together, wrap it, put it in the box that it shipped in, put that box in a box, and sent that to Chaufie.
So just so you understand how many things are now happening. So now that it's the waiting game, because then Donnie sends you the tracking slip, and I'm like, oh, God, gotta wait for this. And we get a lot of packages at my house, so it's not like I was worried that like something was going to occur. But a lot of times packages show up and they just like throw it.
Yeah, of course. See it all the time. Boxes are ripped and stuff.
Yeah, and that's why I was like, just get a case. But my wife works from home, so I told her, I was like, hey, this package is going to be coming. Just, you got to make sure you bring it inside. Once they come, because she likes to ignore the Ring doorbell. So I was like, don't. I was like, this is FedEx, get it. And she was like, why? And I really wanted to not explain to her why. And so that's when we started having the conversation. And she was just like, oh, gosh. Okay, she's like, another stranger has our address? And I was like, yes, another stranger has our address. So I was like, all right. So then, boom, everything's good. Now it's the waiting game. And as I'm getting ready for C2E2, I'm getting my bags together and I'm like stressed the night before. I'm stressing more about making sure I have your book with me as I am about making sure I have my C2E2 badge.
That's good.
I'm like, I got to have this. Like I said, I committed. So I was like, I need to have this thing. So then, get to Chicago. Like, everything's good. Bags are packed. I have that case inside my backpack, and that thing is strapped to me. Like, I should have had the handcuff like to it, because I was like, I'm not losing this. No way, no how. I didn't lean on it. It was just protected. And so get to Atlanta, everything's good. So I'm like, okay, so now the cogs are fitting, right? First one was making the contact. Second was getting it shipped. Third was it's in my possession. Now fourth, I'm in Chicago. So I'm there.
The book has made it to the city.
Yeah. Sean has already gone to like the preview event for C2E2. So C2E2 is happening. No coronavirus shutting it down. Like, it's going to be there.
Yep.
So I'm like, okay, this is great. So I wake up in the morning. I'm like, yeah, we're going to do this. Like, I'm feeling all confident. Great. So then that Friday she was just, I don't think she was doing anything, like not till Saturday, Sunday, right? So Friday we pull up and I leave the book in the house. House is secured. It was fully locked. So I was like, all right. But I did put it like in a way I was like, this thing's super locked in here. And so we get there and we're like, hey, just want to get information on the autographs. And so then, because I read online that you could pay for photos.
Yeah.
But I didn't read anything about autographs. So I pull up and they're like, hey, so I go, hey, just want to get some information about like how the autograph thing works out. And Sean's done it before. He's like, you just get in line, you go get it signed. And I was like, yeah, I don't know. I go,
that's my experience too, for what it's worth. It's about to become a thing, but for what it's worth, my experience is that you just go wait in line.
Yeah, you just wait in line. So he's like, yeah, you just go. So I was like, all right, cool. So then Sean was like, well, we should do a photo with her. And then we'll do the photo, we'll get the autograph, we'll do the audio. Like, we were going to do all these things.
Yep.
And he's like, it's usually that easy. So then I pull up and I'm like, hey, so we want to do this. And they're all, yeah, you can't. I'm like, why? All her photo ops are sold out. I go, what? What about, I go, and then they go, yeah, her photo, her autographs. I'm like, what do you mean? They're like, yeah, she's booked. It's like, what do you mean they're booked? Well, no, there'll probably be standby, so no worries. So I'm like, okay, cool, whatever, fine. Figure it out. I'll stand in line. No big deal. Because then, because for AEW, if you wanted to have autographs, they sold 50. And then past the 50, that was like a guaranteed 50, but then there was still a standby line, and you might stand in that line for like an hour. So I was like, totally get it. Okay, fine. So now we fast forward to Sunday or Saturday, because I'm now having a sinking feeling like I need to get this signed. Like, that's why me going to C2E2 was now less about hanging out with my buddy Sean and going to Chicago for the first time and going from this like, there were all these like things of like, okay, I'm going to go to Chicago. I'm going to eat the pizza. I'm going to have Harold's chicken. I'm going to see my buddy. We're going to hang. We're going to drink. We're going to party. No wives, no kids. Like, he always has the coolest friends. I was like, this is going to be awesome. And then it turned into like, I need to get Donnie's book signed. That's the goal. So it's like, I was on a mission. So Saturday rolls up and there is a big sign. Ashley Johnson, sold out. Absolutely no standbys. So then I talked to one of the workers and I go, hey, what? I know what I'm reading, but can you explain it to me? And she goes, well, they did pre-sale online. And I said, when? I said, because all I see it was photo. I never saw autograph pre-sale. And so she's like, yeah, I don't know. So then I talked to like a coordinator for the autographs, because she was walking around. I go, when did the pre-sales occur? Like, I go, I only saw a photo. And she goes, Ashley Johnson's pre-sales went on, like, whenever they opened up for like photos and autographs, she's all, hers sold out like within an hour or two of the first day. So she's like, you would have never known. She's like,
she's
unless
very
you
famous.
Yeah. And she goes, but she likened it to, she goes, she's like, as far as I can understand, she's all, because she doesn't do a lot of cons, her autograph is very coveted. And they're like, but we're hoping that we'll be able to, like, with everything we sold, maybe we could do some standbys. So just hang out. And I was like, I'm going to hang out, so I'm chilling there. And I'll say this, on Friday, we had already walked the floor and saw all the stuff. So I had in my mind set aside, like, I'm camping out. Like, this is what I'm going to do today. So I talked to her.
And to be clear, for those that listen to this story, I mean, I knew that was plausible. Like, I've seen people wait in lines. When I was at MomoCon, I saw some of the lines, especially the line for Troy Baker. Like, I waited for Troy Baker myself for 2 hours, and that was a much smaller conference. So when I reached out to you, I was like, you're probably going to have to wait there, like, all day. Like, I'm willing to pay for your ticket, your time, whatever I need for you to stand in that line for me, I will cover it. No problem.
Yeah. And so I was like, on my end, even though I heard you say all that, because I really wanted this to happen for you, I was like, I need to try to make this happen for you. Like, I understood the value. I understood, like, to me, because we understand this culture, like, we live in it, like, it makes sense. I'm like, this is the last gem in your glove.
That's exactly
like,
right.
Then you're Thanos up, like, you're good. And so when that wasn't there, I was like, no, I got to make this happen. So I was waiting.
I got a tangent. When I was at MomoCon getting Troy Baker's signature, some guy in the con, like, just some fan in the line, tried to grab my book out of my hands. And I almost floored that kid right then and there. I had never been so, like, offended and upset. Like, he was going on and on about this box set or something or another. Yeah. And we weren't talking. Like, I was maybe 2 or 3 people away from him, just sitting there holding my book, not saying anything to anybody. And he goes, what do you have? And I just turned and was like, oh, I have this American Dreams. He's like, that's a limited edition American Dreams? I was like, yeah, it's signed by Neil Druckmann. And he reached out to grab it. And I just, like, kind of turned.
Check him?
Oh, exactly. I just kind of turned and, like, cocked, and, like, everybody was like, whoa. I was like, don't touch my book.
Yeah. You're like, listen, 2 things you don't touch. My wife, my book. And actually, my book, my wife.
I don't know what gave you the idea that you could just come grab some stuff out of my hands, but let's be clear, that's a no-no.
Yeah, no way, no how. You're you need to recognize what you're doing with your life. So with that, like, so I'm standing there, and Sean is meeting up with some other friends, and so he's like, "What are you gonna do?" I was like, "I'm gonna just chill here, man. Like, I already saw the floor. I'm good. There's stuff I probably want to buy later, but I really want to get this done." And so they'd circle. About an hour later, they come on by, like, "What's going on?" And I'm like, I'm still waiting, hoping standby happens. Okay, come by later. They're like, "You're still waiting?" I was like, "Yeah, I'm still waiting, man." And then they're like, "Geez." They're like, "You're really committed to this?" And I was like, "Yeah." I really want to make it happen for this dude. So let's see if we can make it happen. Even to the point where they were like, because one of the guys, a friend of his, asked him to buy like some special, not even exclusive, just wanted some really nice looking 20-sided die. And this dude walked by like 4 tables and then would look and be like, "I get it later." He's like, "My friend asked me to just buy dice." He's like, "And I've walked by dice like 20 times. I haven't done it." He's like, "You're waiting in line for this autograph for hours." He's like, "Man, you're a good dude." And I was like, "I'm just trying, man." So we're waiting and waiting, and I'm like, this is like not working. And I think that's when I start texting you, where I'm like, I don't know what's going to happen.
Okay, so you text me.
What happened?
I am at work since 4 a.m. that morning for the marathon. The whole time focused on these Olympic runners and their transports to the hospital and everything, thinking that Chaufie's in Chicago, my book is going to get signed. Like, I'm focused on work. And then I we do need to probably pull up our text messages. So I pull up, I get an alert on my phone. I'm going to see if I can't go pull it up so I can at least maybe time it somehow. Let's see here. Keep going. There's a lot of them. Hey, it's Chaufie. Saturday, 2:29 in the afternoon. I'm so sorry. Her reps are saying she sold out a long time ago online, and they absolutely are not doing any standby. I've been trying to work a way in for about 2 hours now. And I can't call you. Yeah. And I'm at work. I'm actively working. Our center's open. We have EMS people running around, and we were actually quite busy, like more busy than we thought we were going to be with this event. And I'm just kind of distraught. Like, I don't want to push too hard because you've already like gone so far out of the way.
Yeah.
But I'm just sitting there thinking, like, if this was me, I'd get in. Like, you wouldn't get me out of that fucking line. Like, like I'd get in there.
I do want you to know, I like didn't leave. Like, I was
still
there trying, but it was like I wanted to keep you in the loop and not hit you up at like 5 hours later and being like, "Hey, how like you had a relaxing day today? Guess what?"
Right.
Funny thing, right? Which we'll find out later. This is probably good that I started this text chain. So
hang on. So you go, "I'm still going to hang around. I'm trying hard." And I go, "No, I get it. Thanks, man. I appreciate it." You say, "Hella people are angry over the pre-sale. Been trying to pay other people to get your book signed with their books."
Yes.
So pick up there.
So that's what I was going to do. I was going to pick up there. So a few people ahead of me, because when you buy the pre-sale thing, it says 1 autograph, 1 item. That's it.
Wow.
And so then I catch like maybe 5 people ahead of when I do this. This guy, he goes, "Hey, can you put my book in your stack and get it signed?" And so then they hop in line together, and then the guy gets kicked out of the line, and so, but his book still gets signed because he handed it to the other dude.
Sure.
Because he didn't have the thing. So he comes back around and he gets it signed. So I'm like, decisions. Do I put Donnie's book in a stranger's hands?
Hands of a complete stranger.
So I'm like, so I see these dudes. And I'm like, "Hey guys." I go, "Hey, come here real quick." I go, "I need this autographed badly. I don't have the thing." And they were like, "Yeah, dude, that sucks." Like we were chatting it up real quick. And I was like, because the autograph is $30. I know it's your money. I didn't care. I was like, "I will pay you $60 to get this autographed." And so, Donnie, you would have paid them $60, just letting you know.
So I told you in the text message when you were trying to do this, I said, "I will pay for their signatures and mine."
Yeah.
Whatever
So
the
then,
cost.
yeah. So I tell the guy, I go, $60. He's like, 60 really? And I was like, yeah, dude. I go, I just need it. So I am watching this guy like a hawk, like uncomfortably watching him. Where like I was gonna get me too'd, how hard I was looking at this dude. you know. So then he makes it all the way up, and then I see some like hands move around, and then I see the book go back in the sleeve, and then he comes up and he's like, "I'm sorry, dude." He's like, "They only let me do one." And I was like, "Oh." Like, so then it's like, because at that point I had texted you, I got someone to like comply with me.
So you wrote, this is almost 35 minutes after you told me that you were looking for somebody. You wrote in all caps, "I just got someone to cooperate, $60. And apparently I didn't respond fast enough. So you wrote, "Do you see the caps? I'm not even playing right now."
Oh no, because you sent me something that said like, "Are you messing around?" or something like that. Are you for real?
Yeah. Yeah. And then I wrote, "Sorry, man, I've got runners falling out in the streets. It's a little hard right now." So I think, and I'm asking like questions, like it keeps going, 2:45, 3:50, 3:00. It keeps going.
Now 3:00 is when she's now ended her first shift.
So I get the text, "Fuck, the plan failed."
Yeah.
And at this point, this is where this is the point where I realize like, it's not going to happen.
Yeah.
Like earlier when he told me, I was thinking that like maybe it was just like too long of a wait and like you couldn't, but I mean, obviously all these people are there. They're at the convention. In my head, I was like, if you tried hard enough, you could probably get it done.
Yeah.
But at this point, you've tried to pay people. You've tried to everything you can do. I'm like, I can't ask Chaufie for anything more than this.
And there's still one more thing to this too.
Ooh.
One of the security people who's been managing the lines, and I felt like I started like chatting her up, like nothing big, but I felt bad for her because the way that they did this pre-sale thing, like people were mad, where they were just like, "What do you mean there was a pre-sale? And usually if there is, it's just, like people were just up in arms." And so they were super hot about it. And so then when she came up to me, she was just like, because I was standing like by a line, and you can't like, it's one of those,
you can't stand there.
It's the tape, but you can't like cross the tape type of thing. And so then I was like, okay, she says, "Can you stand back here?" And she's like, "Listen, they're saying there's not going to be any standbys." She's like, "But if you come back at the later session, which is going to be like 3 to 6, she's like, you come back here like at 5. She's like, you probably have to wait." She's like, "But if they open up to like standbys, you're my first one. You're my first one." She's like, "Because you have been here." She's like, "You haven't given me any grief." She's like, you're not making faces. You're not scowling." And I go, "Because it's not you." I go, "You're trying to manage the line. That's hard."
Yeah.
I go, "Well, why would I be mad at you? You didn't do anything to me." I go, "I can be mad at the situation." I go, "But that's not you." I go, "So I'm not mad." And so she's like, "Hey, thanks for understanding." She's like, "So come back at like 5. I was like, "Okay, cool." And so then after that, a larger rep comes out, or security person, and goes, "There will be absolutely no standbys, none at all. They're not going to have any cash to pay cash on hand." Like he shut it down. And I was like, oh God. So then I think there's another text to you that says like, it's a wrap, or maybe that's when I did text that.
Yeah.
And so I'm just like, and I felt like so like, back to the timeline. It goes from you mentioning it to the Sean falling out to getting it to LA in my hands to Chicago to the show. Like so many steps to make this happen, and it still doesn't happen. Like I felt defeated, but I also felt bad because I couldn't come through for you, because I knew you wanted this so badly that I was like, man, I let this dude down. Again, never met Donnie in my life, but I was just like, oh, I'm such a lame,
At 3:15, I texted you, "I appreciate the effort." And that was just like the nicest thing I could think to text, because I could tell after everything you try to do, you're bribing people, you're waiting around, you've stayed in line, like you've done everything like a normal person could do, right? Like you've done everything that like somebody that's not about to get thrown out of the event could do.
Yeah.
And at this point, about 3:15, you tell me she's having lunch now, but I'm going to give it another shot later today.
Because then that's where I'm going based off the security person.
and it's almost 4:00 my time. This is all my time. So 4:00 my time is what, 2:00 your time or 3:00 your time in Chicago?
Yeah, hour difference. Yeah,
in Chicago. So here's the point. It's 3:00 my time. The marathon ended at 4, so we were beginning to break down and wind down. Here's the point where I start doing the things that I do. So I'm like distraught. I'm like, this cannot happen. Like this can't end like this because of everything you said. After all of this effort that got put into this, my wife sees me. I go to Twitter. It's the first thing I do. Let's just crowdsource this issue. Let me ask her directly. Maybe she'll see my tweet, and in a spark of empathy, she'll do this. So I tweet, my best friend or my friend Chaufie is all the way in Chicago from California, has my book from Atlanta. I'm dying to get this autograph. Will you please just let him in line? I'll pay whatever it takes. At this point, like, the money is not the issue. Yeah.
And I retweet that, like, please.
Yes. And I'm doing searches on Twitter for people that are at C2E2 that are planning to see here, and I'm offering them money. I'm dropping DMs. I'm messaging them. I'm blowing up their Twitter accounts. Complete strangers. I have a friend. I've got to do this. My wife sees me tweeting this stuff, and she texts me, "You're not going to get your autograph?" And I write to her, "Apparently not. You had to book these things online beforehand." And she goes, "I'm surprised that you didn't know that with as much effort as you usually put into this." And I said, well, when I looked her up on the website and I talked to Chaufie to set this up, there wasn't anything on the website about it. Wasn't there. Apparently she had already sold out. The sleuthing that I did turned me on that she apparently sold out in like December. Like that event went up like that day.
Yeah.
And so it was sold out.
They said within 1 to 2 hours.
So this is March 1st. If we're counting the full timeline, like, I probably didn't start reaching out until like January, like, but by the time I even knew she was at C2E2, she had already sold these things. They're already booked. I had no idea.
Yeah.
And I just felt distraught. And she goes, well, if I were you, I would contact the people that run the event. And I said, well, I'm pretty sure they're probably real busy today. It's their event. I said, but yeah, let's start making some contacts. So while you're waiting for her to come back from lunch and get back in line, I start doing all the crazy things that I can think of to do. So let's start with, I reach out to my friends that run Dragon Con and MomoCon, who invited me to do press and have offered to let me do volunteers. And I let them know this entire story and what's happened and how I'm I was like, and I'm on a clock. I have 2 hours. The show is over. And they go, well, we don't know those people, but if you want to let them know that you're here, she was like, tell them that you volunteered here with us, and like, tell them that, like, let them know that you've been a part of this. Maybe that will, get some sympathy.
Yeah.
So I write a form letter email to every email address that I can find on the C2E2 website and Twitter account. And I just blast it off into the ether. I have no idea if I'm going to hear back or not.
Yeah.
I have a friend of mine who works for the Chicago Emergency Management Agency. I've given him several like board designs and stuff that I've done. So I immediately reach out to him. And I'm like, tell me you know somebody. Like, please, for the love of God, tell me there's somebody on, like the Commerce Board or something.
Yeah.
Rotary Club. You got something for me? And he goes, I don't know anything about the conference. He's like, he was the one telling me how huge it was. He's like, oh, God, Donnie, this is a huge conference. I was like, yeah, I had no idea. And he goes, I don't know anybody on the conference. He said, but I do know the people that run the facility. And I said, now we're talking. I need those emails. Like, give me those emails. Yeah. So he gives me the email to the vice president of operations over I don't even know what it was called. What was the place?
I don't even remember the name of it either.
Because they had like a corporate account. But yeah, over the venue people. And I write them an email. And I'm gonna read it. I wrote this email at 4:16. My name is Donnie Reese, and I work for emergency management here in Atlanta, Georgia. My friend is CC'd on this email, just so they would read it.
Yeah.
Today we're hosting an Olympic qualifier for the men's Olympics in the upcoming Olympic Games, and thus I could not come to your event today. I mailed my most prized possession, parentheses, a comic book, to a close friend of mine who's attending on my behalf all the way from California for an autograph of Ashley Johnson. We did not know that we had to pre-order autographs online. I will gladly pay double, triple, whatever the cost to the event, the promoter, or to your venue if anyone in your staff can find a way to get him a ticket or in line for that autograph. Happily. If there's any way to make this possible, or if I can plead my case to her representation somehow, please let me know. I've worked as a volunteer and a press member of both DragonCon and MomoCon here in Atlanta. I'm aware of the chaos involved and the effort you all put into these events. If there's any way I can ask someone on the team to give my request 10 minutes of effort, I would highly appreciate it. And I CC'd my friend who works for the EMA there, and I sent that to the VP of Operations over the venue.
So while this is going on, I'll put a quick pause. There's an old Guy Ritchie movie, I think it's like one of his first ones, Lock, Stock, and Two Smoking Barrels. There is a scene where the character loses, like in a bet, loses a large sum of money. And if you know this scene, it goes to that cam where it's like when the person moves, you're looking from their first person perspective.
Yeah.
And he's just so he's distraught. It's like the music's playing slow, and it's just like, I think at one point he leans over and throws up. That's the headspace I'm in as Donnie's composing this. And it's also not a large window of time. Don't think 2 hours has passed. This is a few minutes.
Yeah.
So then, hold on for a second.
Yeah.
So then I'm hold on. Sorry, one of my teachers trying to talk to me. So then I'm what am I going to do? How I messed up. I can't make this happen. And just I'm seeing these minutes pass. So Donnie sends this out, and I don't know this is being sent out.
No, I'm doing all of this. I am trying to find a way into that line.
Yeah. And on my end, I'm constantly checking my phone because it was notification after notification after notification. Because it was just and as a community, you guys were awesome because it was getting retweeted and it was getting hit.
Yeah, when I was please help all of Team PSVG, most of our listeners, because I had just done PSXP last week where I just happened to tell the story, and it just happened to line up. I didn't plan to tell that story when I went on the show or anything like that. And I didn't plan to go on PSXP the week before you went there. Again, just kind of this swirl of circumstance. I just wanted to go on PSXP and talk to Dev, who, by the way, called in sick.
Wasn't there.
So I went on PSXP and I'm telling the story. So all of our listeners have heard the story. They are now invested. And so many people after that, they were I had no idea that you even there are people that wrote me. They're I had no idea you liked The Last of Us that much, because all they've ever heard me is basically take jabs at PlayStation.
Yeah, but it's a game you've said. If you listen, Donnie said it a ton of times. I just replayed The Last of Us. If there's a game he plays a ton, it's The Last of Us.
Yeah.
And so I'm checking my phone. Now, before I get into where I kick into the next step, your response is?
So I keep sending all these messages. I am basically just carpet bombing any in I can get. I've CC'd the he's not a director. He's the chief of operations of emergency management. And I'm on the phone with him. He and I know each other. And I'm for the love of God, if you can help me, make them read this email. I have a person on site. I just need to get him in the line. And at this point I'm willing to play the public safety card. I'm willing to tell them hey, I'm a public safety responder, whatever card I got to get you in this line. Cause when I went to MomoCon, the line was there were 10,000 people in line. You had to wait in line for 3 or 4 hours before you could get into the venue. And I wasn't willing to wait in line. I was I'm not going to wait in this line all day just to get in. So I talked to the chief of the venue, and he walked me in the back door. And I'm sitting there telling myself, and I'm there's got to be a chief. There's got to be a back door here. If done correctly, there's got to be a way. Do we need to stop? We can pause.
No. Go ahead. No,
okay.
Go ahead.
I'm there's got to there's got to be a way that I can get him in the back door. There's got to be an elbow that I can rub there. I know how the world works. I've done this before, damn it. So I'm sending all these emails. I'm looking through my sent things. When I say all these emails, 13 emails went out between 4:16 and 4:31.
You see what I'm saying? So this is not hours. This is 15 minutes. While this is going on and I'm having that defeated feeling, I have walked from where the photo area is from like basically the right side of the building to the left side of the building, because I'm like, I can't be over here right now. I need to be in a different place. Let me go. I'm going to try to go find some transformers or something. Like I just need to not be over here. So it's like 15 minutes pass.
I get an email from, I'll just name Todd. I don't put his whole name in here. I have no idea what Todd does. I don't even know Todd. Like, there's not even a signature on this email. I get a reply. And I should say, I got a lot of replies, but here are the replies. We're attending C2E2 this week. We're happy that you emailed us. We'll get back. And I'm like, nobody's checking their emails. Everybody's gone. Everybody's.
God.
I get an email from Todd. Donnie, have your friend call me. Here's my cell phone number. I'll see what I can do. Todd.
Yeah.
That's it. Not I'm a head of marketing or I'm an autograph for the event. Nothing. I've just this quick 1-sentence reply that
Todd's
I
a hot dog for all we
screenshot.
know.
Yeah, that I screenshot and instantly type to you, call him right now. You're Donnie's friend from Atlanta. Without telling you what I was doing or anything, just call this random number that I just sent you.
Now, on my end, because I've been constantly checking my phone, I did not even take the time to respond to Donnie. I just immediately called this guy. And I was like, so he picks up, he's like, Todd. And I go, hey, it's Alex, Donnie's friend. I'm here. And he was like, where are you? And I was like, I'm under the 1700 sign. I'm over by the tattoos. He goes, okay. He's like, you're on the other side. He's like, how soon can you get to me? And I said, like right now. I'm running. And so then I run all the way across. And it's the situation where I'm just like, I was angry at everybody because it was like, there's the lady with the stroller, and I gotta like jump over the stroller. There's a guy with the way too big.
I have this Home Alone like through the airport thing running in my head.
Yes, yeah, it was really like so. I'm sliding under, I'm jumping over, I'm ducking, I'm doing all this stuff, and I'm like, dude, what? Like, why is this not like? It took me. For me, it was an eternity to get over there, but it really took didn't take a long time, but it was just this navigating. And so I'm just going, and then there would be a point where I'd see like an open gap, like, you know, when you're in traffic and you're like, oh, it's open right there. And then that lane locks up and the rest of the lane goes.
What are you people like doing? Get out of the way.
Yeah, I was like, come on, just go. And then I get over there.
All right,
because
before you get to him, as you said, you didn't even respond to me. You just started. So from the time that I sent you this message, I didn't hear from you. Like, I just said, call him now. You're Donnie's friend from Atlanta. Cell phone number. That's it.
Yeah.
For me on the other end of the phone, this is like peak tension because I don't know if anything's working. All I know is I just got a bite on the end of my line. I've thrown this Hail Mary into the world. I have no idea. I feel pretty confident. My friend from Chicago is like, I'm going to follow up your email with an email. And I've done my friend a solid a few times, and I'm like, he's going to try to get me in this fucking line. Like, if we've got to get a police officer from the city of Chicago to walk Chaufie into that line and tell them to shut up, you're going to stand in this line. Like, that's what's about to happen.
Yeah.
And so I'm on pins and needles. I'm just sitting here waiting to see what happens. Now,
and I'm not bothering to message because I need to get there.
Right. So here's where I have no idea what happened when you talk to this person.
Yeah.
I know what happens after, but here's what I see on my end. I replied to him instantly from him sending the email. I absolutely will. A million thank yous. He's on his way. He writes back to me 5 minutes after I sent you that email or that text. He's all set, Donnie. Have a great weekend.
Okay.
I still haven't heard from you at all. I'm like, what does that mean? What's happening?
Right. So there's still more. So then I run over. I tell the guy, I go, you'll see me. I go, I am in a yellow hoodie with Pac-Man printed all over it. And he's like, okay, cool. He's like, you'll stand out. Run over there, boom, 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 catch up. And like a police escort, he walks me straight to the front of the line. He goes over to like a coordinator and he goes, this guy, says something to this lady who's like coordinating that area. And he goes, after this girl's in front of you, you're gonna go in the line. They're gonna call you up. You're gonna get it signed." And I'm like, and in my mind, I'm like, "Why didn't Donnie do this in the beginning? Like, why did, why?" No, no, I'm not done. So your dude Todd tells me this, and he goes, "Good luck, man," and he starts texting you and walks away. The lady he talked to walks away.
Oh no.
So then the lady who was there checking in, I go, "Hey, I'm supposed to be in the line." And she goes, "No one told me anything." And I'm
Oh
like,
no.
"No, he told the lady that was behind you." And she's like, "Well, she's gone now." And I'm like, "What do you mean gone?" She's like not in the building. And I'm like, "What?" So then I call that dude back and I'm like, and I call and he doesn't answer.
Oh no.
And I text him and he doesn't respond. And I'm now having the sinking feeling all over again. And so then I call him again and he's like, "This is Todd." And I was like, "Hey, it's Alex. I'm sorry, dude." I go, "I appreciate all the help and everything you're doing, like going above and beyond for some people you don't even know." I was like, "But the lady that you talked to left. Are you still here?" And he's like, "Yeah." I go, "Can you let the other lady know?" So then he tells the lady, and then she like works it all out. She's like, "Yeah, cool, boom. As long as so and so gave the approval, we're good." So I get into the line, and she was like, "So how's your day going?" And I was like, "It's been insane." So I tell her the whole story. She's like, "Oh my god." So she's like, "You have to tell Ashley this story." And I was like, "Okay." And so then we get it signed.
Hang on. Let's
Yeah.
catch everybody up. I sent the message, "Call him now" at 4:39. I didn't hear back from you. I got the message from Todd.
Mhm.
I'm on pins and needles. Like, I'm losing my head over here because I'm working and I'm trying to like stay involved, but I'm so knee deep in this. I've sent 20 emails. I've talked to people in Chicago. I'm trying everything I can do to push all the levers and buttons to get you there. And I go, "Chaufie, what just happened?"
Mhm.
And I get this picture of Ashley. That's it.
Yep.
And that was the perfect reply. I see my book. I see her write to Donnie on the book, and I'm like, "Oh my God, we did it." Like,
Yeah.
I can't believe it. Like, in a matter of an hour, we got you up there and we
Yeah.
did it. And yeah, so I didn't even, yeah, like, I want you to continue, but like, I didn't even know that other part of it. Like, I still don't even know who Todd is.
Oh, for real. Todd's that dude. Anyone who knows Todd, shout out to Todd for really making this happen.
Yeah.
But like, it still fell apart again until like she was actually signing it. So then I told Ashley, because that girl who was like coordinating, her assistant goes like, "Hey, you got to hear his story." So then I was telling her, she was like, "Oh my god." So then I think in your note it just says like, to Donnie from Ashley / Ellie or something
Right.
real generic. Like,
Yeah.
so she wrote in there, I believe it's something like, "To Donnie, survive," and she's like, "I have to make it more personalized." So she came up with those words herself. So what she wrote in there is not me telling her what to write. She wrote it. So now you even have it unique from her. But she was like, "That story's unreal." I go, "Yes." So then that's when I hit you back. You sent me that text, and it really was like, it was such a celebration. Like I was high. I was like over the moon. And then the people that are like messaging, because you're like tweeting like, "We did it," and it was the most like campaign victory ever.
My
You know, it
wife
was like,
was so over the moon. I tried to text her and she said the link didn't work. So she went to my Twitter and she saw it and she's like, what the hell just happened? Like, how did you do this? And I'm on my way home at this point. I got the message from you while I was driving. I actually kind of pulled over on the side of the road. I pulled over to the side of the road to send the tweet. I sent you 1,000 emojis.
yeah,
And I'm just like, yeah, for all that effort and long day. And like, I started to like tear up and I just was just like, I just had like, I realized that I wasn't going to put my phone down. So I needed to stop driving. So I pulled off in like this turn lane that nobody ever really turns in. And I just kind of sat there for a minute and I was like, I can't believe it. Like, finally did it. Like, we got it done.
yeah, it was so like, so exciting. I was excited. I was exhausted. I was elated. I was like, all at the same time. Like, it was the perfect like cherry on top was like, then I immediately like went and bought a beer because I was like, you know what? I just need a victory. Like I worked on this. I worked on this hard. Like we did this. And then I think it was like Mike Fowler was just like had said something about like, oh, you know, Chaufie really came through for you. And so I sent him the that GIF where I was like, actually, it was more like this, where it was like a flea flicker,
Oh
and
yeah,
then it
I
was
was
the Hail Mary
tossing the ball
pass.
back and forth.
Because that's really what it was like. It was just like this whole from the beginning to the end. It was this flea flicker until that final like Hail Mary bomb, where it was like, this might connect, and then it connected, and I was just like, wow. So it was like really really cool. Like it finally like came together, and then you just see all the tweets of everyone like kind of celebrating this,
Yeah.
you know, and oh man, it was like the coolest.
Oh,
Like,
the
oh
tweets were
my god.
great. There are people who are like, there are people who are like, I'm just rooting for you. I had
Mhm.
DMs in Discord, and Jason messaged me. He's like, oh no, because like everybody has known like how much effort and
Right.
thought and planning kind of went into this orchestrated affair, and how much it would mean to me. I've been talking about this book on PSVG for years.
Yeah.
It's not a new thing that I got.
No, no, no. Yeah,
This thing has been
definitely.
around since PSVG. I bought it like that year, I think, like the first year.
Right.
I've had this book on my shelf for years now. Yeah, man, it was just really, really cool. There were a lot of people that were like, well, I was rooting for you. Like, I was so upset.
Yeah.
And I was talking to my wife. I was like, I actually uttered like, before I started making the phone calls and the emails, I just told my wife, I was like, maybe she'll go out for Last of Us 2 or something. I don't know. Like, maybe,
Yeah.
like I had already started to like go down that
You know,
path.
it's funny you say that because like Sean could see my sort of like defeat, and he was like, dude, he's like, don't sweat it. He's like, whatever TV show she's on right now, he's like, it's over. He's like, so she'll probably have more opportunity to do more cons. Plus, Last of Us 2 is coming out, so she's probably going to be doing more of that. He's like, it sucks for you, dude. He's like, but the chances of her having more appearances is
Yeah.
probably going to get a lot better.
And
And I was like,
the thing with her too is that one of the things I didn't mention when I was explaining like how hard her autograph is to get, she doesn't have like a website or like an agent listed. You can't go to like ashleyjohnson.com and like, some celebrities, like you can send stuff in for them to sign and like pay them. She doesn't even have a website, dude. She has a Tumblr. Like,
yeah.
like she's kind of off the grid in
No,
reality.
and that's what I was looking for too. I was like, oh, like if this was the most, I got why she didn't do stuff, because I'm like, oh, you're doing a different thing. You're not doing the full campaigning and all this other stuff. Hey, give me 1 second. I got someone from my school
Yeah.
district calling me.
Okay.
Usually they don't call, so I know it's important. Hey, what's up, man? Yeah,
Be right back.
Devin. Uh-huh. Oh, yeah, her last name, it used to be Sandlin. Now it's Worthgen. That's Wirthgen. Yes. 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 Okay. All right. Yeah. Okay. Cool, man. All right. Okay, for sure. Okay. Bye. Hey, text you. I'm gonna be doing this webinar for a long time, so just text me and then get back to me later. Okay. Yeah, I can't meet right now.
Okay. Man, I can't believe it's been going on an hour. Write down the time.
Also, I'm sorry too. I can never have conversations about another student. I can only talk about yours. But I am very aware of his behaviors. So, but if you wanted to talk about your daughter, I could. But I can never talk about another child.
All right. She just wanted to make sure
Yeah.
you were aware.
Yeah. No. Very, very aware.
8 minutes, 1 hour, 7 minutes, maybe.
All right. Sorry, man. Yeah. It's the life of admin.
No, I get it. It's fine. That's what editing is good for.
Yeah. Okay. I'm back in. So tell me when we're ready.
One of the crazier things that I think I shared, but folks that have been paying attention to this story probably didn't know because it hasn't been recent. I tried to send this book to Dev to PSX. Like, that's how long this has been going on. I was like, dude, if she's there, I'm going to send you my book. And she didn't go. So like, like she's hard to get a hold of. Like, she doesn't have agency listed. She doesn't have a website. She has a Twitter. She has a Tumblr and a SoundCloud. That's it.
What the heck?
She's freaking in Marvel movies and on NBC and stuff. It's not like she's, some, random unknown or less followed, voice actor or something like that. Just
Right.
big deal. And it's difficult. So
Yeah. No, and that's where I was like, when Sean was telling me, like how your wife was telling you, like, maybe there'll be another opportunity.
yeah,
He was just, and that's why I told him, I was like, but she doesn't do a lot of stuff. And he's like, well, hopefully, with the new game,
yep.
he's like, or, now that her show's not going to be on anymore, like she's got more free time. And I was like, dude, I hope so. I was like, but this sucks, dude. I go, this kind of really became like the whole point of it all. But when it finally clicked and everything went together, I was like, oh my God, this is amazing. Like this happened, this worked, like this is awesome. And it was just so like, man, when the other guys finally came around, because pretty much now I've spent my day at the con just in the line.
Yeah.
And so when I finally see them, they're like, so what's up? And I was like, I text Sean, I was like, I got the autograph. And he was just like, what the F? Like, what? So then when I see all these guys and they're like, did you really do it? And I was like, yeah, man. I go, you do not understand. Like this. And the one dude goes, I still haven't bought the 20-sided die yet. And I was like, oh my God, what? And so it's just like, people are celebrating, like I said, in the sort of Twitter sphere. And then the people who were with me kind of watching this going on, they're like, everyone's just like, dude. And so it's like telling this story about how this thing went on. I was like, this was crazy. And so now the book is back in the envelope, back in the case, back in the box, back in the box. And then the next hiccup I had was looking up your address, and because you had it written down when you sent it to me. And then I was like, is this supposed to be a letter C?
Yeah, it's weird.
Or a letter E? And then when I Google mapped it, it didn't appear when I typed it in both ways. And I was like, oh no. I was like, how do I get this back? Because my plan is now once I leave work, I'm going to head straight to UPS. And that's kind of where it all ends. I'm going to send it right back to you.
Get it back. It goes on my shelf. It'll be joined by the collector's edition and the new statues that are coming. But it's special to me. I'm sure there are other people out there that have all the signatures and everything. But in my mind, I feel like I have a truly like unique piece of the original game.
Oh,
and
for sure.
That was the whole point of it.
Yeah. And so, man, Donnie, I'm more than anything, like I'm glad you let me be a part of this adventure. Like, because it really was like, it was fun. It was crazy. It was like highs and lows. Like,
I appreciate you sticking in there, man, and doing it. Like, because like I said, most people wouldn't, and you can't ask for most people. Like, you can't ask most people to do that type of stuff.
Yeah,
because most people wouldn't do it.
Because all the guys that were with me, they were like, yeah, not even with my closest friends would I put this much commitment in.
I would, but I'm that type of person. When I've said that with I think most of my friends know me. I'm like a very, ride or die. We'll go to the end of the earth if we have to.
And that's what a lot of people like that know me as well too. That I'm like, if you're with me, you're with me. Like I got you. Like, what do you need me to do for you? How can I help you? Even if I can't help in a way, then I can put you in a direction.
Yep.
That's what I do. And so it was just like to have this finally like be all complete. I was like, this was amazing. Like this was the wildest.
Shout out to Todd. I don't know what Todd does or if Todd was voluntold to do something. There was a 10-minute period there where I gave up. Yeah. And then I was just sitting there. Like I said, if it wasn't for work, if it had been 3 hours early, I don't think I would have had the time.
Yeah.
But work was winding down, and I was just sitting there at the office. I'd been there all day.
Yeah.
And like I was the same way. Like when I bought my house, like houses are hard to buy, especially like in competitive markets. And I used to be like, man, I would go view houses with flashlights at like midnight, like to get an offer in early and things like that. So I've always kind of been that way. Yeah. And I was like, my book is with Chaufie in Chicago. Yeah. I'm going to do everything I can to get him in that line. And again, just going back to my MomoCon, I'm like, look, man, a lot of times it is all about who you know. And I was like, I've got friends in Chicago, and I'm going to start giving them a phone call. It's time to pay the piper back.
Like we're doing this.
I've helped you. I need your help. I got to get this guy in this line. Okay, so I need a cop. Give me an off-duty person. Just act like he's important. Yeah. Somebody walk him up there, and she'll sign the damn book and let him go.
because that's all I needed. And I was just, I mean, I started doing like the
but
fantastical.
it is all you needed. But you also got the picture, and I got to tell you, like, I'm probably gonna make that my pinned picture because I love it. It's just it's she has like such a nice smile, and it's like such a great shot, and it's just to see my book, like it's the visual. It's like the end of the fantasy, like this dream that I've had the whole time. But it, like I couldn't be there, but it was like the next best thing.
And that was that was like a nice little like added bonus, because as you're waiting for something to respond to you in that
because he's all taken care of, and I'm like, what the fuck does that mean? Does that mean he's there tomorrow or what? He didn't say. That's all it says. It's all it says is taken care of. What?
And then for me to respond back where I'm just like, this.
It was
like
perfect.
It was like, oh, it was so good, man.
I wrote Todd the next day. I wrote Todd a long thank you, and I sent him a bunch of crying kissy face emojis. I was like, you don't understand how much this means to me. I was like, and I won't read the whole thing, but I was like,
Todd came through.
Ultimately, the sentiment is I can't type how much this means to me. Like, there's nothing I can put in this memo that you'll understand.
Yeah, if anything, your words will probably lessen the value of the emotion. When the guys that I was with, I remember telling one of them, I was like, they're like, so where did the guy come from? Like, how, did he know he was there? And I go, no. I go, I'm pretty sure that whoever this Todd guy is just like apparated, just like, and then disappeared. I go, so I'm pretty sure he doesn't exist in the world except for that moment.
I'd have to call my friend back, but I'm pretty sure. I think what happened is my friend followed up my email, basically saying, "This is a friend of ours, and we'd really appreciate it if you could do something." And then the VP probably told his director of events, if it's anything like how the Congress Center works, which I've done a lot of working there. The VP probably told the director of events, the operations guy, to tell the person over the event, C2E2, make this happen.
Do this. Yeah.
And it probably got voluntold down to somebody on the floor who said, come find me.
Because the way the dude walked me to the front was like the most gangster move. Everyone's waiting in line, and he's just like, follow me. And we just walked right up, and I was like, oh, I got no business being here. Like, you know what I mean? It was just like,
I've had that moment. I had that moment with Suda when I was in line for Suda, and they thought that they weren't gonna, that they thought they were capped. And I told the chief of police over the venue of the Congress Center, I said, look, I'm here to meet. He's one of my favorite people. He was like, oh. He's like, you just want to go to the front of the line? He's Donnie, you can go to the front of any line, because I build them all kinds of stuff for years. I've helped them run all kinds of events. He's like,
we got you.
Don't worry about that. He's like, we'll get you to the front of any. And they did the exact same thing. There was not thousands. There was 100 people in line. Literally walked me all the way to the other side of the velvet rope. Opened the rope. Told the person who was first to scoot back a bit. And they're like, and they were like, here you go. And I was like, and I, then they left me there. You feel like a complete dick. You're just like,
yeah, exactly.
Sorry.
Yeah.
Like I'm friends with the police chief.
Yeah. I was like,
we're pals.
Man, but it was, I think to what kind of makes your signing even better is that there is a story attached to it.
Oh, yes.
Because it really could have been just like, I sent my book to this guy in California. He got it signed. He sent it back.
Yeah. No, you're 100% right. Like the whole journey, I'm glad I didn't give up on it. And, you were absolutely right. The book means so much to me. As I mentioned on PSXP, when Troy Baker signed it, like he took a moment to like flip pages and read through it. And he was asking me questions about it. And he was just like, how cool is this book? And you think of all the things he's done and everything he's done, and especially in The Last of Us, how many things he's probably signed, boxes of the game, steel books and all that. And I brought him this book 5-6 years after the games come out. And he was like, oh, this is cool. And, like I was like, damn, this book is cool. Like this is, it's like, that's why it's so special to me. Cause I'm like, it is like, it's something really good. Yeah. And I even had an exchange with him. I was like, now I just need Ashley. And he was like, good luck, dude. And he looked at me and he goes, I don't even get to see Ashley.
And then that's when you really go like, I'm screwed.
That's when I was like, I'm going to Denver. Like if I've got to go to Denver, like I'll go, that actually is probably the moment when he was like, I don't even get to see Ashley. That's when I was like, oh, I'm getting this damn signature. It's gonna happen.
Now you're man on a mission.
Exactly. Yep.
Oh,
Thus
man.
all of the effort and, desire
Yep.
and push to get this done.
Yeah, and like I said, now after this, I'm just gonna go back. I'm gonna put it in UPS's hands and get it back to you.
Hopefully they don't lose it. It's the only thing I can think of.
So Donnie, did you get that package? No. Guess what happened? The UPS truck flipped over and burned. Everything.
No.
Everything.
Or
no, it only burned one box.
I'm probably going to be buried with that book. I think. I actually think I will. That's what my wife said. She's like, my wife. I came home. I said I've been at work since 4. I got home. It was maybe 5:36 this time. Long day, and I got to be back at 4. So I can't hang out all night. So I'm just pooped, and I walk in the door, and she's like, "Oh my God, what happened?" Because she saw everything, and I tell her the story, and she's like, "You have to record this." Yeah. And that's when you and I were texting.
Because that's when I was like, we when are you free?
Yeah, we have to record this. We can't just let this not go unused.
Because I think also too because I also needed to talk to you to hear. I knew what was happening on my end. But it's not like one of those.
I didn't know what was happening on your end.
Yeah, and it's not like one of those situations where I was like, okay, so I did this, and Donnie was in the same building, but he was like, he had to go pee real quick, and then that's when this, no, this is like completely. We are not even saying like actual words to each other. Mm-mm. Like there's no actual phone call or.
I'm sitting in my work. I sent pictures on those blast emails. Pictures of me in the EOC with the track club people. I had the EMS people wave. I was like, look, I can't. I'm stuck. I'm not bullshitting you.
This is where I am. And also, this is what I'm really doing. It's not green screen.
Can I get you to put a guy in the line for a public safety first responder, please?
Yeah.
Can you get out of your way to put somebody in line? I'm not some kid on the internet or something like that.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Trying to do something dumb. You're like, I am a full-grown adult.
Oh, and I told that guy, I was like, I will pay you $500. I don't care. Tell them that. Somebody go let her know. Yeah. I have to get this book signed. You don't understand.
Yeah. But I'm happy for you, dude. All in all, we got it done. We got it done. It really was a good balance. If you hadn't gone for that Hail Mary in the end, it really paid off in the end. My only suggestion is if you ever need another autograph, I will help you, but you need to send those emails
first. It never even dawned on me until you said that. I was like, oh yeah, that.
No,
but again, just like Sean, like my Momo kind of experience, I just felt you just go wait in line,
Yeah, because he said that. He was like, I've never seen this happen, and even Ashley said it too. She was like, because like I said, we talked for a little bit.
I would love to hear more about the story you told her.
Yeah.
So you tell her this whole thing, or was it a bridge? What did you tell her?
It was so this is what I tell her. I go, because then, like I said, her person goes, hey, you got to hear his story. So then I was like, here's the story. I go, my friend Donnie lives in around Atlanta. I go, he wants this book signed. He posted in Discord. I say, I'm going. I go, I don't live in Atlanta. I live in California. I go, so we were going to have someone in Atlanta get the book because they were going to meet me here. I go, but that person didn't want to do it. And so he sent it to California. Then I flew it back over to Chicago. I go, and then I was going to get your autograph. I go, but then that didn't work out because they were sold out. And she even said too, she's like, you don't know how bad I feel about these. She's like, with everything being sold out, she's like, I'm already past my window. Because even when she finished autographing, for the people in her first batch, she still went over 15, 20 minutes. So her lunch break was 30 minutes instead of an hour. So I can't say she was just no, 2 to 3. You know what I mean? She was just she was still putting it in, still talking to people, stuff like that. And she's like, I feel so bad. She's like, because I know people are upset. And I go, yeah. I go, so then I tell her, I go, so I'm trying to wait in line. I'm talking to the security people, this, that. I go, then my friend sends a blast message out because I didn't know it was the email.
You didn't know what happened.
So then I go, he all of a sudden gets a random phone call from this guy who I think does some type of EMS or something around here, and talked to her, and they walked me to the front, and she's like, that's not real. And I was like, no, it's not. I go, It's just not. And so then that's when I open the book and I go, so here's everyone's signature. I go, that space is for you. This is Donnie's note. And she goes, I'll write something just a little bit better. And that's what I said. I think she wrote in there like survive and endure or something like that. And I was like, this whole thing was about surviving and enduring.
That's true. That's spot on. And I'm glad. I love that she did that. I didn't want her to copy verbatim. I just wanted it to be personalized. I just didn't want it to be a signature. Just write something.
Yeah, just that scribble. And so she did. And so then I was like, oof. But yeah, and for the audio thing too, where I was like, because you wanted me to get like a sound bite.
Yeah.
And so
maybe one day I'll get it. Maybe if she goes on The Last of Us 2 or something, I'll get it.
Because they weren't going to let me do the photo either.
Yeah.
And I said, because I go, yeah, we do the autograph fine. I go, actually, can I get a picture? And they go, no, like no pictures. And I go, no. I go, not with me. Just of her signing the book. And the girl goes, just of her signing the book? I go, and that's when I started telling her the whole story. And she was like, yes. And I go, how about audio? She goes, kind of pushing it, man. I said, you know what? I said, it's good enough. Good enough. You give me the picture. You give me the autograph.
Yeah, I wrote a really great stinger, guys, for those listening to the show. The audio plug I was going to write. So in The Last of Us, she has a line. It's a pretty dramatic line. She says something along the lines, I'm probably paraphrasing. Everyone that I've ever loved has either died or left me. Yeah. Everyone except you. And in the scene, she pushes Joel out of the way because he's trying to like dump her off. She's pissed. Yeah. It's a great, and Ellie being pissed is like such a great, that's what Ashley Johnson brings to that role.
Yes.
You know, that's what makes the role come to life. So I was just simply going to replace you with PSVG.
Yeah.
And I was going to be a stinger for the whole network.
Yeah. It would have been ill.
It would have been
great.
When
you sent that my way, I was like, yes, that's good.
You're right. I said that to Dev. He was like, damn.
Yeah, because I even printed it out because I was like, I don't want to have it on. Because I was so prepared that I was like, I am printing out the things like the stinger you want me to. It's not going to be on my phone because what if I don't have reception? So let me just take this paper with me. I'm going analog. Like I'm going to be like, here, read this. So then it was crazy, dude, man. It was crazy. But for me, I got to start hitting on the traffic lines right now. But dude, Donnie, I'm glad we got it done. This was great.
Yeah, man.
I hope you're as excited as I am.
What a journey. We got this podcast out of it. Like, that's nothing. Like, the stinger would not be better than this story. So this will be a little bonus episode for you guys this week. The journey of Donnie's autograph featuring Chaufie from Games We Don't Play.
Yeah,
so
thanks.
A million many thank yous, Chaufie, for everything you've done. And just make sure tracking is put back on that.
Yeah. So no, I was going to do no tracking, just the slowest possible. I'm probably just going to leave it there. Maybe just put like a Post-it.
Put a rabid gerbil in the box. Just
right, exactly. I'm gonna have my son actually take it. No, but dude, it was team effort. It definitely was team effort. Not a one-sided thing at all. If we didn't have this like balance of making things work, it wouldn't have come together. So, thanks, man.
That's it.
I'm out.